Hello, everyone. I'm Janet Tarantino, author of Dying to See Revelations about God, Jesus, our pathways, and the nature of the soul. And I'd like to welcome you today to my YouTube channel called Exploring Everything Spiritual. Please click the like button below and feel free to share any of my videos. And don't forget to subscribe below to see future amazing videos on everything spiritual. Today's guest is special to me. This is Teresa Dunwell, who shook my world when she painted what was called a soul painting. Since I saw my soul during my NDE, my third NDE, and know what it looks like, I thought if she was authentic, she would paint something blue, the color of the sky on a beautiful day, since that was the color of my soul. I oftentimes look at the sky and wonder if that's Mother Earth's soul too. But what I expected was not what she painted. But later I'll show you the amazing picture she created. Teresa embraces and takes particular delight in looking at life from a unique, unseen, luminous perspective. As a Reiki master, artist, and visionary, she has discovered a soulful language to express the unseen through her soul essence paintings. Her focus is to assist others to awaken and remember their innate wisdom, their spirit, and the gifts they all hold. As an Akashic Level 3 reader and energy worker, she is able, through her readings, to hold a space for others to discover their true knowing. Through her expressive art, her client can then celebrate the awareness and the opening of their spirit. This bridging of spirituality and the fusion of color and movement has characterized her paintings for the past 20 years, and I assure you they're beautiful. She demonstrates this synergy through her direct connection with others, as well as through her meditations and visions for a new earth paradigm and the transformation of consciousness. Teresa has selected one of her participating artists, was selected as one of the participating artists featured in Renee Phillips' powerful book, Vision, Passion, and Purpose, Artists as World Changers. In May of 2012, she was a winner of the Award of Excellence in the Manhattan Arts International Competition. Celebrate the healing power of art for her painting called Another Angel Gets Its Wings. And wow, I love that one. The client observed and stated that saw that picture, Teresa paints from a place of deep integrated wisdom and compassion. Her connection to spirit and love is evident in her work and as an artist and visionary. And her work is included in several private collections throughout the United States, South America, and France as well. She's all over the world. And I think you can add Germany to that list too, because when Gina and I came for our soul painting, Teresa, you were wrapping a soul painting that was going to be, a picture that was going to be delivered to someone in Germany. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. Thanks for the reminder, though, Janet.
Yeah. Now, you've had this gift since childhood, right? Can you tell us about how things developed from there?
Well, I've always had a gift for just knowing beyond this world how things really work. And I remember as a 4-year-old really having that understanding. And as you get older and you're moving into the world and what other people think and what other people decide for you and your culture, your religion, all of those things kind of bind you up a little bit more. And, you move into some fearful times. And so it was that my experience of really being able to connect with spirit was I was involved in a prayer group, and it was a charismatic Catholic prayer group, but it was using the gifts of the Holy Spirit. And so that was my focus. That was what I was really concentrating on as a prayer group leader and that kind of thing. It wasn't until I birthed our son Sean, who was born in 1979, that when I was birthing him, I knew he would not live to be 5 years old. So there was a really amazing connection with him in that sense, even while I was birthing him. But also there was some fear associated with that. And it was a continuous surrender. It was just a continuous surrender process until he turned 4 years old. And then I really got very, very worried. And at that point became very fearful and went to a friend and we did prayer together. And I released him back into God's hands. And knowing that, this was a destiny, that this had not left me. I had not shared this with anyone. And yet I knew that there was something different going on and that he had a purpose and I had a purpose in this. And so on that day, I released him. That week we were going camping at a place called Lake McConaughey at Ogallala, Nebraska. And he came to me, and he's a very wise old soul anyway, even as a 4-year-old. He would be the one, I'd say, "Oh, Sean, I have no energy." And he'd say, "Well, here's your energy, Mom." And he'd hand me my Bible, especially the New Testament. It was like, So anyway, those kinds of experiences we had together. And he came to me that week and said, "When are the walls of the house coming down?" And I said, "Well, Sean, the house is going to be fine while we're gone." "No, when are the walls of the house coming down?" And basically, that's what happened to him. We were camping at Lake McConaughey in Nebraska. We were camped up on a plateau. The kids were playing down below, and he had just waved to me. And as I'm looking out on the lake, the cliff gave away right in front of me, and then buried him about 8 feet deep. When are the walls of the house coming down?
Oh.
This shifted my focus. This shifted the energy of what this world is like, what this encounter with spirit is like in that sense. And I knew he knew and I knew. And I couldn't go back from that. I could not go back. So I had many dreams with him after that. But one of the most significant that has to do with the soul paintings was that I was working with a kinesiologist. And she said, "There's someone very special with you in the room right now." And I said, "What's Sean?" I said, "He's in my heart. I know he's here." "Well, he wants you to paint him." And I said, "Well, paint him like he was when he was 4. She goes, "No, paint him like he is now." And I was even being shown the powdered pigments, the egg yolk, all of the things that I would do to do the kind of painting that I was. So that was a confirmation for me that this person really was reading this energy in him. So I began painting in this way. I not only painted for him in this way, but also many, many people since then I've painted and done soul paintings for. And just continue to see this as a calling, a higher calling, something that Sean and I are in agreement in. It's something that we do together. And it's my way of being in service in the world, So that's the soul painting, the akashic record reading. This is how I go about doing this. So yes, it's a very special process, one that I was able to do with you. Thank you. Mm-hmm. And so many, in that sense. Yeah, it just opens up a whole other world for people in helping them to remember their gifts. Absolutely.
So you said you knew that he wasn't going to live until 4 or 5.
Right.
Was that because of a doctor told you, or was that an inner knowing?
Complete inner knowing. I actually saw him playing ball with Jesus. And so that was it. I just knew in my heart that was it. And for all those years, it was just my secret, something that I just kept inside until this week before he passed. Mm-hmm. And it was like, there was just this knowing that it was coming very soon. And I had even bargained with God. I don't want him bloodied. I don't want him burned. All of those kinds of things. I mean, I was literally bargaining with God at that point. And there was also a beautiful release in that, because it was like that light came in, that awareness came in, that no matter what happens in our lives, everything is perfect, and it is done in that will of something greater and higher for our good. And there were blessings that came from that. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then he guided you to serve the world.
Exactly. That's exactly right. So that was our response, you know, together. This is the kind of work that we can do together, because a piece of this is the kingdom of heaven lies within.
Yeah.
And, you know, Jesus himself said, let the little children come to me and do not stop them, for of such is the kingdom. So it was like that relationship with him was about the kingdom. It was about that heaven on earth. And that isn't that what we're all about right now, is bringing that heaven to earth and helping others to awaken to the truth of who we truly are. Mm-hmm. And in our spirit, being able to be all of that we are, and not be curtailed in that by the thoughts and the beliefs that we've had about ourselves and that kind of thing. So yeah, your waking up process too, you know, in that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know I kept everything quiet until you blew my mind. Maybe this would be a good time to show them the painting that you did for me and why it blew my mind. So let me take a moment and share the screen here and get the painting that this is the, can you see it? You might have done that.
Yes. Yes, I do see it now.
Okay. Yeah. It's mine, of course, is what I drew. It's on and saw is on the left side, and what you drew is on the right side. And you explained to me that the colors are all significant too. Can you explain a little bit about the colors that you paint and what's the meaning behind them? So
colors hold a vibration, they hold a frequency. And I really do believe that, you know, at different times in your life, depending on what you're going through, your colors shift and change. It's not always the same thing. But some people are prone to more colors than other colors and that kind of thing. In this case, for you, it was a real opening. It was almost like a portal was opening up of this golden light, of this experience of you stepping into the fullness of your soul and really being able to come out from that. And the turquoise, that blue, is like the throat chakra. So the throat chakra is about speaking your truth. It's not only about knowing who you are, but then being able to speak from that place. And so those colors were really very powerful in you. There's a lot of emotion in this. The blue is about emotion, but the magenta is about the heart. And so it's about you really living within your heart now, expressing who you are as a soul. And you can see from the top of it, it's like the soul is coming into that. The full embodiment of you was coming into it at that time. This is all that you showed me. It's like, I'm not the healer here. It's that everyone who comes to me is the healer. And you're opening up to your own gifts, but your heart is showing me those colors and showing me those frequencies that really want to be expressed by you at that time. So this would not have happened if you were not ready to come to that place. And so in being able to do this painting, as with many people, it's like they've come to an understanding that this is the next step, and that they're ready to take that step in their awakening process in remembering who they are as a soul from the minute that they were conceived, and then moving forward on that. And it's becoming, with the energies that are available right now, it's becoming much easier to be able to access this. And there are more teachers like you, like me, who are out there to be able to say, it's this simple. And it's just a matter of really opening to your spirit. The soul painting, what it does is it gives you not only access to that, to your remembering, but also then it's a visual reminder. So a lot of people have these at their altar. They have them in their healing space. There are healing centers that have these paintings. because they are like portals. They just open you to all expressions of really heart-based energy, innocence, play that is shone. Those are the ones that are most prevalent in those paintings. Yeah.
It just blew me away. I was shaking when I left because I thought, oh my, I know this. I recognize this, and how am I going to, what am I supposed to do? Because even this, there's a little oval, the circle down here in underneath the purple, and you had other ones up here, but and it was on the path that this light took coming in. And as I saw in your circles, it approaching, I was just amazed you even captured that. So that's fantastic. Yeah, it's something you never forget. And actually, your building that you were in at the time was one of the moments, the images that God showed me during that, when he was embracing me and showing me moments of my life. And so that hadn't happened yet. So there's, many things that had happened after that near-death experience, and you were one of them. So you were on the schedule. There's certain points in our life that are scheduled, but there's many that we have options to take a different pathway. Okay, so let's go on to, let me talk about the one I really enjoy. This is the one that I just love because it reminds me of the tunnel that I saw. And it had white light coming out of it, and I could feel the colors, even though mostly was white light coming out of it. I think that's absolutely fantastic. How did you come about this?
Which one are we looking at now?
Oh, you can't see it?
I don't think so. Let's see. Is it Another Angel Gets Its Wings? Is that the one you're talking about? Okay.
Yeah, but
it hasn't shown up yet.
Oh, it hasn't shown up yet.
Maybe it's the connection I have here. We can just go on if it's showing up on your screen.
If you can't see it, then maybe they can't. So maybe I need to.
It could be a delay because the computer is like that right now.
Now I'm going to. Okay, I stopped sharing, and I'll share again. And this time I'll go to it this way. Oh, that's the wrong one. Stop share.
Okay.
Okay, now share the screen. And it's right here. It says I'm sharing.
You're definitely sharing one of the paintings. One of the
okay, so you saw that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I think that the one you're talking about, Janet, is the one that is called Another Angel Gets Its Wings.
Yes.
And you were talking about the tunnel of light, and the response to that was the angel was looking, and then there's another soul painting, so that's another one that we have. Yeah. Definitely, that's a part of this. Yeah.
So are these angels then, or?
They're angels. They're beings of light. They're the colors and the vibrations for the individuals, for their experience. Each person is unique. Each person has their gifts and is unique in this process. And so it is really opening up to that. And so it's what the soul is wanting to show at that particular time. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
There's several different people in there.
Yeah, there are.
Like the larger person is cradling two other people?
Yes, very much so. And it's like a blossoming. It's also like a chrysalis. It's also like a butterfly. And so a lot of times people will get these paintings at home, and then they'll call me or they'll message me, email me and say, oh, I just saw this about the painting, or I just thought about this with the painting. And so the painting will begin to reveal things to the person when they're ready to have that experience and open up even more. And a lot of times there will be things that will be within that painting that I have no understanding of that will come up later on, and they'll say, oh yes, that's what this was about. So it's not for me. I'm just channeling that and then being able to be in service to that light and that love for that person to have the experience at that moment of what their soul is wanting to say to them and continue to say to them in the process.
So I stopped that so that I can try sharing another one. And I don't know if I'll ever get to that picture that I want. Huh.
And there's yours.
There is that one. There,
no,
can you see it?
Okay, there it is.
Okay, this is the angel. Another angel gets its rings, and I think that's fabulous. So
yeah. So it's seeing that being birthed into that light, and whether that is a birth or a death, it's the same, because what we're finding is that living and dying are all the same. It's just our interpretation of it. It's all the energy. Actually, we don't live and we don't die. We're here as energy, as this beautiful energy, to really be able to celebrate who we are. And so the dying process isn't really, it's like one step over the line, and there you are. But our loved ones are still right here with us all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And this is an experience of that which is being birthed, whether it is the living or dying process. There's a celebration going on here. And like you said, that tunnel of light was your experience. That's been my experience too, from a long time now. Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I know when my mom was nearing her final death, to her day of her body's death, she was looking up to the ceiling and she said, I can see heaven. She said, I can see heaven. I said, wonderful. She said, and there's a gathering going on. Oh. And so each day I would ask her, and I said, is it getting bigger? And she said, yes. And I said, do you know everybody? And she said, no, I don't know everybody, but I'm sure it's people from past lives, guides, and all the extended loved ones, or people that she touched their lives too, I would imagine.
Absolutely. Yeah. And when I do a soul painting, it's not just about me in that space. It's about a number of guides and teachers that are a part of this, that are a part of the soul for the individual having the painting. So they're helping me. It's like that energy is being held. I'm holding the space as well as they are for the heart to fully open to the experience of doing the painting in this field of energy called the Akashic Records. And this field is open, completely open. So when we talk about like reincarnation or whatever, it's that, it's all within that field. The past is within that field. The future is within that field. It's all really within the now. And it's our experience of that comes forward in that now that creates our reality, creates the way we want to be in the world, Yes. Yeah.
I remember my mom, she was a wealth of knowledge, because I had asked them to share with me everything they experienced during their dying process, because they knew of my near-death experiences in my book and the other stories that I've collected for a future book. And it put it at ease as to what's going to happen. And so I asked them to share with me everything so that I could put it in the next book if it would be helpful, and they agreed. And so she was sitting up in her recliner, just sat up in her recliner, and she had kind of glassy eyes, and she said, they're showing me bodies, naked bodies. And it was, first of all, it was naked bodies of men, and then it was naked bodies of women. So I think she was picking out her next body that she was going to go into. That's what I picked up from it, because then she said, and I get it now. We're eternal beings because we go in and out, in and out. I said, you mean reincarnation? And she said, yes. She has never. She's a Lutheran, and never ever would have considered that before, and was never in her mind. So
Yeah.
it was interesting. This is beautiful. A lot of clean, beautiful colors there. A lot of different people too.
Very much so. You know, it would be like your soul family. And then about your connection with the soul, and the hands being the hands that will bring you forward, you know, within. I think this one had to do with her profession. And so it was about, you know, really reaching out and knowing that you've got that connection with your guides, with your teachers, with your loved ones in this process, and that door is available to you to be able to do that. And much like your mom, where she was completely, that veil was so thin that she's just very open to that energy. We have an experience now, it's almost like a spiritual dispensation, where we can say yes to this energy, yes to this love within our life, and be able to really respond to this channeling of this energy coming through that's here for us all the time. We just haven't taken advantage of it to really be able to share our gifts with others. And we all have a unique piece of that. Your unique piece of that is in your writings, your beautiful writings, and what you're sharing and helping people to really be able to say, yes, I've experienced this too, and feel comfortable with that. And, you know, mine is about just helping the remembering, you know, because we are all in this process of remembering right now. These are the times for that. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's amazing how many people are remembering now. Yeah.
Yes, so. Yes, exactly. And the young children coming in who just know right off the bat, you know, exactly what their gifts are. They remember their past life, all of those kinds of things. So we are, our generation is called the bridger. And, you know, we're bridging the third dimension to the fifth dimension, and really being able to integrate those things.
I gotta get it out of there. There we go.
Yeah.
It was in the way. I couldn't figure out how to get it down. I don't usually share that many, so.
Right. Thank you. Thanks for doing that. I really appreciate it. Yeah.
Your paintings are beautiful.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I so enjoy doing this, and I feel like that this is why I'm here. This is what I'm about, is to be able to share with people in this way. And it's a very unique way, like everybody else has a unique way, you know, but it's about helping people to discover their gifts. And also those things that maybe have hung them up for a long time, maybe a fear or a block around something in their lives, or even a past life that needs to be released. And that's the reason for the Akashic Records, is there's a prayer within that to be able to release those things that just aren't serving you anymore. And once you're able to do that, it opens up that whole field of energy so that you can play more, so you can celebrate and have more joy in your life, and really find out exactly who you are as a soul, you know, which is just about being. It's not about going to a job or anything like that. It's about being loved. How can you be loving your life? So I'm pretty passionate about that part.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's exactly right too.
Yeah.
And so you do this in other ways too, because back then I remember you saying that you use in grief situations, you'll use ashes in your paintings, right?
I have done that. I learned the old master's method of making paint out of powdered pigment and egg yolk. And so it's a Renaissance technique. So the powdered ashes, the cremation ashes, really were able to integrate well within the paint. And I was able to do what I called memorial icons at the time, right now I'm traveling on the road. As you know, I've been traveling for 7 years now in our motorhome. And so I'm able to do more of the acrylic painting work. But as far as the oil work, I'm don't have a studio for doing that as successfully. And so I've had to kind of put that on the back shelf. But yes, that's a big piece of it, as far as really helping to integrate those ashes into the painting. And then it becomes an altarpiece. It becomes something for that person to really know that their loved one is with them. And that applies to dogs as well as people, because there are furry friends, cats. They're all
soulmates. Yeah,
exactly. They're all soulmates. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely.
And so everyone's going to want to know, can you do this from anywhere since you're traveling, and how does that work?
It works really well. What's ended up happening is Zoom has taken over, as we well know. And so what I'm able to do is that I have a Zoom session with an individual, and we go into the Akashic Records together. And from that, like for you, when we were sitting in the room, I get impressions, energy, color, vibration, and I just begin painting. And so it's still the same process. It's still an 8x10 canvas, using the acrylic paints, the watercolors, and colored pencils, and getting these impressions, and then doing this work together. We work on the Akashic piece of it, which is really opening up to spirit, to helping a person remember and awaken wherever maybe there's some stuckness there or whatever. And so we go into that, and it's a energetic exchange. And then I paint from that place. I can do it in the motorhome. I can do it, at friends' houses and things like that. And so that hasn't limited me. I'm still able to do it in that capacity. And as we know, energy is energy, and so it's that world wide web of love. And so it does not matter as far as having to be with a person now. That's not the case. So in this time of Zoom, then it has really worked successfully in that sense. And so I've had clients from Europe, I've had clients from the States, just whoever is wanting one. People have done them as gifts for their family, and that's a possibility too. So things like that. Yes.
Yeah. And you have different levels of paintings, right? Because you have the soul painting that I had done was miniature, but you do elaborate ones that are absolutely beautiful. And they're on your website.
Yes.
And that's Teresa. That's livingworkstudio.com.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
livingworkstudio.com, and you can click into soul painting. And now I'm doing something called dragon paintings. And so I've got that going on too, which is really fun. And
what's that?
You can check in on that. This time is about empowerment. It is really about finding our courage, finding our strength, and it's a magical form of being able to, much like the angels, really touch into our power. And so it's a unique dragon that's created just for you, and the symbols and designs around that. It's much larger. It's a 16 by 20 painting, so they're huge in response. And they're done with the acrylic and colored pencil. In the Akashic Records, the same sort of thing, but just it's kind of a new piece of it that's just happened within the last 2 years. And I began doing these, and then I just saw dragons everywhere, and and it was like there was real confirmation in that to continue doing that. So I've probably done quite a few at this point, and will continue doing them. So when you click on that tab, you'll see both soul paintings and dragon paintings, but there's also an assortment of all kinds of goodies on that website, that you can take a look at. And of course, the gallery. As far as the commission paintings, I do commission paintings for people too. Very large ones, like 3 by 4 feet soul paintings, those kinds of things. So there's many different ways. I've been doing this for quite a while now. And so I just want to continue doing it. Feel really good about that.
And so do you sell prints of those that you have online?
I do have some prints available, and it just depends on what it is. The prints, I know I've got Another Angel Gets Its Wings. I have a print of that one. And then some other prints that I have available that there was a gallery in Colorado, and I was part of that and sold a number of prints. So I just contacted my printer, and she goes, "Oh yeah, we've got all the copies of that. We've got all the prints." And so, I'm back in business again. She saved all of that, which I was really grateful for. So lots of gratitude around this whole process. So much grace and gratitude for you and what you're doing, Janet, and for having me here. It's fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you.
Is there anything that you'd like to tell the people that are watching before we head out?
Let me think about this a minute.
You can take a minute. Some words of wisdom.
That you are enough, that you matter, that you have a part to play in this, a very important part to play in this, and that it is in your beingness that you can be all that you can possibly be when you're opening up to this light. This light has been there for you your whole life. You know this light well. It's a matter of just saying yes to this light, to God's light, to this love, and that it's available for everyone. No one is to be taken out of this. It's not about that at all. And that there are many here to help with those gifts, and that we can always listen, that our intuition is very important in this process of listening and getting in touch with that. And that the quieter we can become, that silence is a true gift right now. I think that that's the gift of if there's a gift in COVID, it is that we have all been able to go within and be quieter in that sense. And that silence can bring the intuition and the guidance on a daily, moment-to-moment basis. So it is important to really get in touch with that, especially now, as crazy and busy as things have gotten, just to go within. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because we're all God's people.
So absolutely. Every single one of us. Yeah. Many different colors, shapes, sizes. It doesn't matter, and it is in our very beingness we can serve.
That's exactly right. That's what I saw in my near-death experience. That's perfect. And so how do they get a hold of you? Through the Living Works Studio?
They can definitely go to www.livingworksstudio.com. And also my email is on there, and so they can contact me, and then we can set up a time for us to be able to do a Zoom and to do a painting. And it's wonderful to connect with everyone in this way. It is like the World Wide Web of love. And so we're able to really connect at that level. It's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, so. And for those people that have already had it done, a new one could be advantageous to see where you are now.
Yeah.
That would be fascinating to see. My daughter would like to get another one done. So when she gets some time, she'll be giving you a call, I'm sure. So.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, absolutely. I would love that. Absolutely love that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for being with me today, Teresa. And thank you all for watching this video. And I will have all of Teresa's information underneath the video in the description area. And don't forget to take a look at all the magnificent paintings that she has on her website, because they absolutely are beautiful. So thank you again, and goodbye, everybody. See you next time.
Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate it. Okay. All right. Thanks, Janet.